Hello friends, welcome to Coding Host YouTube channel. In this video, I will explain you a lead code problem, spiral matrix. So in this question, we will get a matrix and we have to return all the elements of the matrix in spiral order. So normally when we print elements of a matrix, so we print row by row. But in this question, we have to take the elements in this spiral order and we have to return them in this list of integer. Now I will explain you how we will write the program for this question. So first we have to make a array list of integer, because in that array list we have to return all these elements. So I will make a array list. So array list of integer al equal to new array list of integer. After that we need these four variables like min row, min column, max row and max column. So what is the minimum row? So what will be the starting index of the row? So it will be starting from 0, because we have to start from this element 1. Index of this element will be 0 and 0, minimum row and minimum column. So these two indexes are 0 and 0. I will make this variable here, int min row equal to 0 and min column equal to 0. Then we have to make two more variables for max row index and max column index. So in this matrix we have total 3 rows. So what will be the maximum row index? So if you subtract 1 from the total number of rows, so then you can find the maximum row index. So max row equal to m dot length minus 1. By using m dot length we can find the how many rows are in this array, and minus 1 to find the index for the maximum row. Then we have to make variable for max column. So we can find total number of column by writing like this, m of 0 dot length, and we have to take index and note the total number of column. So I will write here minus 1. So in the max row variable we will get 2, and in the max column variable we also get 2, because total number of row are 3 and 3 minus 1 is 2, and same for column. Now you can see that we have to start from this element 1 here, which is at index 0 and 0. Then we have to move left to right. So in the top row we are moving left to right. So when we are moving left to right, our row is same but our column is changing, because first we are at column 1, then it is going to column 2, then it is going to column 3. So it is reaching here at element 3, whose index is 0 and 2, because minimum row index is 0 and maximum column index is 2. I will make a for loop for this. For int r equal to min row and column equal to min column, because row and column are starting from minimum row index and minimum column index. So we have to write like this. Then column is incrementing here, because it is starting from 0, then it is going up to index 2. So I will increment this variable c up to its value is less than or equal to this max column variable. So while c is less than or equal to max column, so c will increment, and in this for loop I will add the matrix element in this array list we have made. So I will write here al dot add m of r and c. So we have made our for loop for the top side. So I will write here top. After reaching here, it is going from top to down. Let's say it right side. So it is going from index 0 and 2 to this element 9, and the index of this element 9 is 2 and 2, because here we are at the maximum row and maximum column. So when we are going from top to down, what is changing here? So here column is max column, but here row is incrementing. First we are at the minimum row, then we are going towards the maximum row. Again we have to make a for loop for int r equal to. So row is starting from minimum row. So I will write here minimum row, and column is starting from maximum column. So c equal to max column. Then row is incrementing. Row is less than or equal to maximum row and r plus plus. And inside of this for loop we will also add the element from this indexes. So we have made this second for loop for the right side. Now we have reached at this element 9. Now from this element 9 we have to move this side from right to left. This is our downside when we are moving from right to left. So what is changing here? So here row is maximum row, but column is starting from maximum column, then it is decrementing up to minimum column. So minimum column index was 0 and maximum row index was 2. Again we have to make a for loop for int r equal to, so row is starting from maximum row and it will remain same. So maximum row will remain same, and c column is starting from maximum column, so c equal to maximum column, then c is decrementing up to minimum column, so until c less than or equal to minimum column, then here c will decrement, because when we are going from right to left our column is decreasing. So now in this for loop we again have to add the elements in the array list, and we have made this for loop for the downside. We need one more for loop for the left side. So when we are at this index at element 7, so now we have to go up. So when we are going from down to top, so what is changing here? Column is same here, it is minimum column, but here row is starting from maximum row, then it is decrementing up to minimum row. So now we have to make one more for loop for int r equal to max row and column equal to minimum column, then row will decrement up to minimum row and r minus minus. So in this for loop we also have to add the elements, and we have made this for loop for the left side. So we have made this for loops, but you can see that when this program will execute, all these for loops will only execute one time. You can take this example of this array. In this array we have 16 elements. So when we are going from here, then this first for loop will execute, then here second for loop will execute, then here third for loop, then here fourth for loop. But from 5 to 7, again first for loop will execute, then 7 to 11 second for loop will again execute, so on. So what we have to do, that this for loop will execute as many time until we not cover all these elements. So what I will do is, first I will take a while loop and I will copy all these for loops inside this while loop. So we have to make some condition in this while loop. So what we can do here, so we only need to run this for loop until we not add all these elements in this array list. So I will take a variable int total, and in this total variable I will store the total number of elements of this matrix. So I will write here m dot length into m0 dot length. So m dot length will give us number of row, and m0 dot length give us number of column. So in this array we have 3 column and 3 rows, so 3 into 3 will become 9. Then I will take a counter variable, so int count equal to 0. So this counter variable will increment every time when we add any element in the array list. So in this while loop I will write this while count is less than total, and we will copy this statement in every for loop. After this condition I will use here AND operator, and we will copy this statement here. So I will copy this statement in the all for loops, and in every for loop we have to increment our count variable. So I will copy this variable here. In the last we have to return our array list, but still we have to do one thing. So suppose if we try to dry run this program, so in the total variable we have 9, and in the count variable we have 0, and in this variable we have 0 0 2 and 2. Then this value will start, so count is less than total, yes, because count is 0, and in the total variable we have 9. So in the count variable we have 0, and in the total variable we have 9. So statement in this while loop is right, and we will go in this for loop. So then this for loop will start from r equal to min r. So it means that at index 0 and c equal to min c, so index 0 and 0. So this for loop will start from index 0 and 0 and until index 0 and 2. So this for loop will run, and it will also check this condition when count is less than total. So first it will check for 1, count is less than total, yes, 0 is less than 9. So now in the array list we will get 1, then count plus plus, so count will become 1, and also c plus plus, so column will become 1. So now we are at index 0 and 1. So now it will check here, c is less than or equal to max column, yes, because column is 1 and max column is 2, so this condition is right. And count variable is also less than total, yes. So these two conditions are correct. So now in the array list we will get 2, and after that count variable will increment, so it will become 2, and then column variable will also increment and it will become 2. So now index is 0 and 2, so it will check here c is less than or equal to max column, yes, because c is 2 and max column is 2. R is still at 0, which is minimum row, yes. And count is less than total, yes, count is 2 and it is less than 9. So this condition is right, and it will add this element in this array list. So it will add 3 in this array list. After that count plus plus, so count will become 3 and c will also become 3. Then when this for loop will again execute, it will check here c is less than or equal to max column. So now c has become 3 and this max column variable is 2. So now c is larger than max column. So now this for loop will break. Now this second for loop will start. So it is starting from index r equal to main row, so index is 0, and c equal to max column, so max column index is 2. So at index is 0 and 2 we have this element 3 again. So now you can see that when this second for loop will start, it will again add this corner element in this array list, but we have to avoid it. So what we can do is, so when we reach here from left to right, so after that I will increment our main row variable. Main row will start from index 1 instead of starting from index 0. Main row will start from the second row, and it will not take this element 3 again, because main row has become 1 and max column is 2, so it will take 6 and not this element. So after this for loop I will increment our main row variable, and when this second for loop will execute, so it will take this elements 6 and 9. So it will take 6 and 9, and after that this for loop will break. Now when this third for loop will start, it will start from the same index, max row and max column, here max row and max column, and it's mean that it will again store 9. So when we are going from right to left, what is changing here? Column is changing here, so max column is decrementing. So before this for loop will execute, we will decrement our max column by 1. So instead starting from here, it will start from here, and after 9 it will take 8 and it will not take 9 again. So after the second for loop we will decrement our max column variable. Now after that, when this second for loop will finish, so it will store 8 and 7 in the array list. So it has stored 8 and 7. So now it will reach at this index 2 and 0, and here this for loop will break. After that this fourth for loop will start. So now you can see here when this fourth for loop will start, so it will start from this same index, max row and min column. It's mean that it will take this element 7 again. So here row is decrementing, max row decrementing to min row. Before this for loop will start, what we will do is we will decrement our max row by 1. So instead of starting from this last row, it will start from here and it will take 4 instead of 7. So we will avoid the corner element. So after this third for loop, we will decrement our max r variable, and after that when this last for loop will execute, so it will take 4. It will run up to here only. So you can see that when we execute for this top side, here row is remaining same, but this column is incrementing from minimum column to maximum column. So down here after this last for loop, we will increment our min column variable. So this first for loop will not start from first column, it will start from second column, and that's why when this first for loop will again execute, it will take 5. So in the last, after taking this last element 5, count variable will become 9, and when this variable will become 9, it will check here in this first for loop that is count is less than total. So no, count is 9 and this total variable is also 9. So this first for loop will break. Then same it will check for this second for loop. So all this for loop will break. Then when it will check in this while loop that count is less than total, so that time this while loop will also break, and in the last we will return our array list. So now let's run our program. So you can see that our program is working fine, and let's submit our program. So you can see that our program has submitted successfully. Thanks for watching.